Do you know what it means to be grief informed? Do you have the tools and knowledge to be help a grieving child, maybe in your school or in your therapy practice? I'm Kelly Doherty with Center for Informed Grief, and I'm here to help you understand what that means to be grief informed. Grief informed is imperative if you are working with children, because the reality is 1 in 13 children will experience the death of a parent or a sibling by the time they turn 18 years old. And this does not include all of the children that are grieving maybe a grandparent, a peer, a friend, a neighbor, or even an animal. If you are working with children, at some point you are going to work with a child that is grieving. And it's important that you have the tools and knowledge to be able to support them. Because grief is a normal, natural process. But unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation that's out there about grief and loss. And many people don't even feel comfortable with talking about grief and loss because our society kind of stinks at talking about it. We put a timetable on grief. We want people to feel better. Look at our bereavement leave policy in this country. Most places, it's 3 days you get off, and then you have to return back to work and be okay. People put this timetable on grief that once you reach a year, you're okay. It's actually not correct. To be grief informed really means to understand that grief impacts somebody in all areas of their life. At school, at home, with their friends. And it also impacts them emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and even physically. I can tell you that when my mom died, I was 14 years old. And following that, I really struggled with my peers. I struggled with being able to fit in and felt really alone in my grief because I really felt like I was the only one that was grieving. I also dealt with a ton of stomach aches. I was internalizing all of my grief. Thankfully, I got the grief counseling I needed and the support that I needed, and I was able to move forward in my grief. It's not something I've ever gotten over, and nor will I. It is something I have learned to live with. And so over the next few weeks, I'm going to share some core principles of what it means to be grief informed. The Dougy Center in Portland, Oregon, which is the National Center for Grieving Children and Their Families, does a great job about talking about what it means to be grief informed. And I'm going to share some of the information that I've learned from them and from my own personal experience, as well as working with grieving clients for over the past 20 years. So stay tuned for more information, and I look forward to sharing my expertise with all of you. Take care.